What's going on, guys? It's T90. I am back, and I am here to cast some MegaRandom between the Viper and MbL. I promise it wasn't planned to cast so many Viper games and upload them to YouTube recently. I know that it normally does, like, the videos normally do well, but it's just that Viper played in a show match versus Leary that I organized, and I uploaded all those games to YouTube. And there were just a lot of things that happened that featured Viper, and I know you guys would want to see it. So my channel isn't going to be Viper, Viper, Viper. It's not going to be Fatsob, Fatsob, Fatsob either. But we have MbL and Viper. I don't think anyone can complain about this if they like expert play. And we have MegaRandom, which is also something that's very exciting about this because pros don't play this all that often. So MegaRandom has 300, 400, maybe 500 different weird map generations, and this is one of them. I can't say I've ever casted this one. It was a nomad start, so they didn't start with the TC. MbL's placed his here, and Viper's placed his here. And then there's a pond in the north, and there's a pond in the south for fishing. There's about 2,500 fish here, and I assume the same down here? Yep, 2,500 fish down here as well. So they'll be able to pressure on water in the north and the south. Maybe Viper will give us those longboats, and then maybe MbL will give us those plumed archers. And this game's a really special one. Now, right off the bat, I noticed that Viper definitely got the map hacks in this one. Gold here, 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 here. He has 4 golds on his side of the map, and then this one, if he takes map control, would be his. And this one would be his if he takes map control. Definitely not a fair map generation, which is part of the reason that pros don't play MegaRandom maps. Even MbL's stone is a bit bugged into the wood line there. I could easily see MbL getting boxed out from his res. Mayans and Vikings. Viper has a civilization, which I think... Oof, it's pretty close versus Mayans, actually. I would give the Mayans the edge in Castle Age in terms of aggression because of the plumes. But if Viper's able to take advantage of the Viking economy and maybe take control of the ponds with the longboats, it could be good for him. Especially with this type of a map. With all the extra gold piles, I could see him making a lot of siege rams and maybe berserks or something crazy if this gets to post-imperial. The good thing for MbL is that Mayan resources do last longer. So maybe he'll be able to sell some excess wood and food later on for gold. Maybe he'll just bank up more gold because of that bonus. But at the moment, both players are docking. MbL is docking the north. Viper is docking the south. I didn't think that players could dock this at first because of the road terrain. Viper's on the way to dock. He hasn't done so just yet. Do they have boars? Let's see. Viper has deer, 2 pigs. He sees this pig. He doesn't see this one. He'll find it with his sheep. MbL already took a boar. And he doesn't see this one. Okay, so at least the starting food seems to be pretty fair. Viper's scouting with a lot of sheep, which is the normal nomad. That's a good decision from him. I think he has a few more too, so that helps. So he'll find what he needs, I believe. What did I want to bring up? Oh yeah, the fact that Vikings don't get Fire Galley. Now, on maps like Cross or any map with these small ponds, typically players will go Feudal, dock their opponent's little pond, make Fire Galleys, and snipe fish that way. Vikings don't get Fire Galleys, so I think defensively it could be tough for Vikings if MbL docks here. However, in Castle Age, I've seen Viper go longboats, and the longboats have such a high damage output versus fires and fishing ships. They can snipe them pretty quickly. So I could see Viper being... Like, maybe Viper commands the water, and then MbL with his plumed archers in Castle Age commands the land. That'd be a pretty cool situation. I think MbL will like his situation at the moment. Has a Vill lead. 18 villagers, and then has 4 fishing ships versus 1. Of course, he doesn't know this, but it's not bad. I would like to see Viper and MbL wall like crazy. If they really wanted to try hard, they should embrace Fatsob's ways. Hey, Viper's even Vikings. Yeah. Embrace Fatsob's ways. He has pretty decent scouting, doesn't he? Yeah, he can at least see the wall potential here and here. Wall there, and then maybe to the water's edge. If you really want to protect yourself from an enemy docking you, you can wall this way. We'll have to see, though. That's a big wall investment for the early game. Yeah, see, MbL has realized that he can wall up. Perfect. Now that I think about it, I think I've had quite a few MbL uploads as well, which is not that uncommon because MbL plays so many epic games. But I've been enjoying doing this YouTube-only stuff. I enjoy it a lot more when I'm not trying to cram content in on top of all the other things going on, but it's definitely a much different experience than my streams. It's hit or miss, though. Sometimes the games really would benefit from having some conversation topics that chat would bring up. And obviously a big thing I like is to converse with people live on Twitch, but this has been cool. I think with Definitive Edition coming, I'll probably have... I don't know if it's going to be cast all the time, but I will have 1 to 2 YouTube-only stuff a week. Now look what MbL's up to, guys. He's on his way to Feudal Age. He realizes that one of the perks of being his civilization versus Vikings is he can go for fire galleys in Feudal. Now, I guess he's just assuming that Viper has water down there as well. Because it's MegaRandom. It could just be one pond, but it should be balanced. And so he's coming this way. Viper has a house there. Can he see the woman? Shh. The correct thing for MbL would be to dock here. Like, dock as close to the edge of the map as possible, so Viper doesn't realize what's going on. Yeah, that's a great dock location. Now, if Viper expects this, what he can do is he can send a fishing ship this way. I've seen players do that a lot. Not sure if he's expecting it. However, he might be thinking about doing a similar thing to MbL, but MbL is already walled up. Yeah, see, that villager's running forward. And this is already walled up, unless she wants to jump off the cliff, but she might break a leg or something. Sprain an ankle. You have to get a monk. You have to bring a monk over with you. So the monk can heal your villager's leg from over the cliff. Oh, see, look, Viper spotted it. Yeah, Viper looked, so he's prepared now. Both players are going fast castle off of this. And MbL hasn't even made a fire galley yet. So I think Viper will be fine. He'll be on 2 docks. The question is, what does he make? He can't make fire galleys. Does he make regular galleys and a demo? Or does he click up and try and hold off until the longboats, which he can only make in Castle Age? MbL's on the way to Castle Age. Is MbL on stone? Yes, he's going to stone. So he's thinking about plumed archers in Castle. It's always great for Mayans. And Viper's going to be right behind him, and Viper's making galleys. Yeah, I think it makes sense to go galleys. That's the only thing he can do. Demos are kind of a hit-or-miss unit. Very expensive. You can't reuse it. Viper likes to micro. MbL probably doesn't realize that Viper spotted him, so he's being patient. And what he might do is wait till he's in Castle Age and upgrade those ships so they're stronger. Viper has 9 fishing ships, MbL has 8 fishing ships, so if MbL kills a few, then he'll probably be happy with the situation, but I don't see him staying here long term if he doesn't push quickly. So the big upgrade for galleys when fighting versus just fire galleys is the fletching upgrade. Viper's had the time to research that, but we'll see. Here comes MbL. 2 fire galleys. Viper has 4 galleys. We'll zoom in on the micro battle. Now, don't ask me how the captains of these ships don't get seasick. That's a lot of turning around right there. It's a theme with Viper, where someone chooses a strategy which could work really well, and he just gets by, right? Yep, he'll be fine. It's a nice attempt from MbL. Wasn't really a wasted attempt by any means either. And now Viper will probably just make longboats if he wants to pressure there. And I would expect new TCs for both of them. This, you've already seen the length of the video. This could be a longer game. Ooh, whoa, hold on a second. How did that woman get in here? Dude, Or, like, sorry, woman, not dude. Seriously, how did she get in here? I have so many questions. Was there a hole? I don't see a hole right now, but Viper walls her in. Oh my god. MbL's got to be so annoyed. I was never expecting her to get in here. You could tell this wasn't scripted. This is partially built, so she couldn't have walked through there. She couldn't have gone here. She definitely came from the right side. I'm guessing that MbL might have opened this up because he just plugged this gap with a house. And Viper's like, oh, don't mind if I do, and waltzed right in. MbL never expected it. Now, she's probably going to die. MbL has walled her in here. But now Viper can make the longboats. And the damage will be done because Viper got the dock up. And Viper should defend here as well. Now, MbL has just researched War Galley. So his fire galleys will become fire ships. This will be a little bit stronger than Viper might anticipate. But Viper knows that MbL researched that because of this ship right here. I think MbL could be in trouble with the fishing situation. But let's see what Viper's micro is like. So far, it's so good for MbL. Pretty good stuff. Viper has to hit and run, and so his fish will have to run as well. Remember, there's only 2,500 or so food here. Still something you can take advantage of right now. Also can help out with map control later on. Yeah, Viper's going to be fine down here, man. The longboats are going to shred the fire ships. He's going to be fine. However, MbL might be fine in the north as well. So, really exciting stuff. If you look to the bottom right... Oh, no, that's a team game option. Never mind. I was going to compare the total eco units, but MbL does have more villagers. Keep in mind that Viking villagers have free handcart now. So I do consider the Viking economy better than Mayans, especially at this stage of the game. Plus, I feel like MbL is more threatened, and he has to focus more on his pond than Viper does now. And Viper is on 2 TCs, whereas MbL is just on 1 town center. He has not expanded his economy whatsoever. He did grab 1 relic, though. So if he grabs that relic and grabs this relic, and then maybe this relic, which he has an outpost next to, that would give him a nice gold boost. Remember, he does not have near as many golds close to his economy. It's kind of hard for Viper to pressure in the north, though, because he only has 1 dock to produce the longboats from. So he's trying to be annoying and snipe fish. It was great micro from MbL, too. Avoiding the longboats, even spreading his fire ships out to catch Viper if he loops around again. Interesting game. It's an interesting map. It really is. I don't want pros to play MegaRandom all the time, but this game has been pretty good so far. Viper's making some demolition ships, guys. He's not messing around. He really wants to hold this. He'll have 2 demos in a moment. Now, the nature of having the flags on top of a building when your unit is garrisoned is that they're not going to know how many units you have in there. Look at that. Viper killed 2 fishing ships with that 1 fire, or 1 longboat. Impressive. And now Viper's making fish traps. I was really curious if players would make fish traps after a while. I don't think that's a bad move. MbL has 46 villagers. It is 42 for Viper. MbL is investing into a lot of farms, something that Viper is starting to do as well, and Viper's adding his 3rd town center. And there's a castle for MbL. I talked about the plumed archers. I'm surprised I haven't seen them earlier. Viper still being a micro nerd over here. Must have landed some shots with the demos, didn't he? He definitely did land shots with the demos. MbL must be so annoyed with this, because that 1 sneak villager, that 1 villager just waltzed right in. You gotta lock the door when you leave, MbL. Come on, man, you should know this. Man, that's such a big deal. I don't know if it's because I play the game or if it's a caster's instinct to feel extremely bad for players, but can you imagine the frustration? You had a great strategy to full wall, dock Viper's pond, and wall Viper out from your pond, and then Viper just walked right in, and ended up killing all of your fish as well. I mean, if you're not thinking it's a big deal, there's a total of 900 plus 500, so about 1,500 food left there. That's a lot. Now, Viper probably realizes he's ahead economically now. And he realizes there's not much that Vikings can do versus Plumed Archers in Castle Age. So, he's building outposts around here. So he could spot MbL if MbL wants to run forward. And MbL will run forward. He has a few plumes already. He has 2 plumes. He has more queued up, so he'll be on 5 soon. And I like this castle because it also protects the gold. Remember, his gold situation is going to be a real worry for him in this game. Also, MbL has 2 relics. He did get the one that was near the outpost. This 3rd relic is on the right-hand side, and he's about to snag that, so it's not bad. And the 4th is... I guess the 4th is here? Does Viper... I guess MegaRandom might not have 5 relics. I feel like there's got to be 5, though. Could be T90 blind. Anyways, it's good that MbL invested into the farming eco, recognizing he would lose his fish, because he has the food to click up to Imp now. He's on his way. So he can get back to fishing. He's creating a few more. Good decision. Now, Viper's making fish traps on fish traps on fish traps here. I would love to see a stone wall from him on the right. Last thing he needs is to lose 20 fish traps later on to Arbalest or... Alright, not Arbalest, Plumed Archers, right? So Viper has the economy lead, which is the norm in most Viper games. The question now is, can he defend from the military? He has resources coming in, but what on earth can Vikings do against Plumed Archers at this stage of the game? I think Viper needs Imp. He might need to start off the game with Elite Skirm. And the dangerous thing about starting off the game with Elite Skirmisher is that you then open up the option for MbL to make Eagle Warriors. So then Viper would probably need a castle to make Berserks. He's making a castle here right now, actually. This could easily turn into Plumed Archers and Eagles versus Berserks and Skirmishers. Now, I haven't been able to speak to Viper to ask him about this, but I almost feel as though he wanted MbL to build that forward castle. Because you notice how he had a lot of stone, and he didn't build it until he saw MbL building his here. Had Viper waltzed forward and built his castle, let's just assume the Plumed Archers didn't stop it, then MbL would have been in a position to trev it down. But Viper said, okay, let's tempt MbL to build a forward castle, and then we can trev that down ourselves. There's no way, as Viper's defending with Scorpions in a castle. He's doing a great job as well. Got great kills, nice quick gates. Wow, great stuff. But yeah, anyways, it's almost like Viper wanted this, I think. There's no way MbL can trev down Viper's castle. The mobility of the plumes is going to be a big problem for Viper. Now, keeping up with 2 castle Plumed Archer production is not going to be easy. Oh, we could use the longboats to protect from the plumes down here. MbL is looking awfully hesitant. He doesn't want to risk running through there. Yeah, see, look, MbL's made a trebuchet from the forward castle. And he's thinking, well, what do I attack? What do I attack? He'll attack this town center. Okay, something. Okay, MbL has 3 relics. Okay, so... Whoa, what is she doing there? Is that the woman from earlier? I thought that was a relic on the minimap. What is she doing? Nice pixels. Nice. Anyways, we should probably watch the fight. Viper really likes his Scorpion defense. MbL loves his Plumed Archer Micro. He's picked off the Plume that got converted, I guess. He's picked off the Scorpions. And he's going after the Siege Workshop. Or Viper's researching Capped Ram, actually. MbL is waiting for Viper to send pressure forward. He hasn't seen much yet. He knows that Viper has an economy lead. The Viper's a big old boomer. And MbL just caught a glimpse of the skirmishers. So again, I think it's important that MbL makes barracks, which he's doing, to make Eagle Warriors, which are anti-archer and definitely anti-skirmishers. So, Viper, he has to expect that. This is bad for MbL. I do not believe he should be throwing plumes away. Viper has to expect that the Eagles will come and then make a few berserks. So it's a really fascinating civ matchup on land. On water, it's not so fascinating, but on land, the counters that come into play are really fun to watch. 130 population for Viper, who's just using skirmishers to attack the Treb at the moment. He's gonna get it too. That's a silly thing. He knows that there's no Eagles out here yet. He still lost a lot of skirmishers, but he's killing a Treb, so he'll take it. And Viper defends on the left. I know Viper's a successful player. He's the best player ever, but he's not one who plays like MbL's playing in this game. He tends to be the guy who relies more on the macro, more on the defense side of things, and then makes his opponent overextend and then counters. Just waiting for the counter attack from Viper. He's getting chainmail armor, so he's thinking about berserks. Now, MbL did slide in here with a few plumes. He killed some vills, and he delayed Viper's economy. That I like, but I think the bait from Viper, or the jabait, worked pretty well here. As MbL will lose the forward position with the castle. But MbL will also complete the Elite Eagle Warrior upgrade. And I see... Only now is Viper making berserks. So this could be a problem. I think that Viper could lose his trebuchets. He definitely expected the Eagles, because he wouldn't have researched those armor upgrades if he didn't, but... Right, he sees the Eagle Warriors. He house walls the Eagles out, so they have to take a more awkward path. MbL should commit right in for the trebuchets. Oh, this is great for MbL. I also love how he attacked the houses with his own treb, so he can walk in this way. Now, plumes will counter the berserks. Eagles will counter the skirms. And the berserks are not elite berserks yet, so Viper still needs to play defensive, still needs to buy himself more time. And MbL also doesn't have too many upgrades, but he has more upgrades than Viper does in the infantry. And so all of a sudden, MbL has a lot of map control. Here he was trying to place a castle, and it got momentarily denied. I like how MbL played this. I also love how he sent the Eagles to Viper's woodline. Viper hasn't reacted to this yet. It's just important that MbL saves his gold units. Remember, his map can be really rough on him when it comes to gold. But he's sniping the berserks for now. Just wait until these things become elite berserk. They are insanely good when they're elite berserk. Both players have the range and melee combo. Both players using unique units. What more would you want from a game? It's perfect. Nothing more sad than two civs with fun unique units that never get used. You know, just... Like, best example would be Teutons versus, like, Saracens. You never see the Mamelukes, which are amazing, and... You never see the, oh, nice little counterattack from Viper here. You never see the Teutonic Knights. Actually, I say never, but we saw a few recently, didn't we? So, this woman built a sneak base. And Viper wanted to raid with skirms, huh? It's something. Hey, she got some value earlier. Okay, MbL has 135 population, and it is 136 population for Viper. I like the composition more for MbL right now, because his plumes are more mobile, his eagles are more mobile. But if I know Viper will, again, he's not going to go all in, he's going to creep forward. Every time he sees a plume, bam, say goodbye, plume. Bam, say goodbye, Treb. Yep, run in. Oh, there's eagles. Let's back up again. And now MbL realizes what's going on, and MbL gets out of here. So to compare regular berserk stats, by the way, it is 10 attack currently, so it's 9 base attack, which is the same as an eagle. Eagle has 60 HP. Berserk has 64 HP. So it's not quite as insane as you would think. It's definitely going to be better for the berserks. if you were to compare regular Berserks with full upgrades versus Elite Eagles with full upgrades. But it's the Elite Berserk upgrade that's really special. And I imagine that MbL would want to get Eldorado, which would mean his Eagles would have 100 HP. Yeah, Micro's tough here. It's a bit easier for MbL to take the fights in terms of how he's controlling his units, because all he does is patrol his plumes behind. So his ranged units are doing damage. He doesn't have to micro. Viper has to micro his ranged units hard. The Viper tried to kill MbL's castle, and MbL wasn't having anything of it. But yeah, so I think it's easier for MbL to control his units. But if Viper gets Elite Berserk, which he's now completed, Elite Berserk and Skirmisher, I believe, is slightly stronger than Plumed Archer and Eagle, but it's still so close. Like, now look at the Elite Berserk stats. 75 HP, 14 base attack, 5 melee armor, 5 pierce armor. 5 pierce armor is even insane, considering the Eagles have 6 pierce armor right now. And the important thing is that Viper has castles in like defense, so he can't be raided. And Berserks produce really quickly as well for a unique unit. Sucks for MbL. Since he lost his center position, it's not easy for him to reinforce and defend this area, so Viper will probably take that, and that's where another gold is. MbL just has this gold remaining. It's a sad sight, honestly, to see MbL struggle so much when it comes to the gold. I guess if he does push back in the center, he could take this gold. Does have 3 relics, so it's 3 relics to 1. That's nice as well. And we'll see. How will the Elite Berserks fare? So far, it's looking pretty good for the Viper. We're 46 minutes into this game. Okay, now MbL's getting the final armor upgrade, which will give him a lot more armor. It is Elite Plumed Archer and Elite Eagle for MbL. He was lacking a few upgrades then. He didn't have Elite Plume. He also doesn't have the Archer armor. Still could get the final attack upgrade for the Eagles, and then also could get the Eldorado upgrade, which would give him more HP, which would be a huge help. Oh, Viper's getting Berserker Gang. Berserker Gang means his Berserks will slowly heal. So if this game goes on for a long time, that'll be a very good bonus for Viper. It's an expensive tech to get, but he feels like it's worth it, especially with the golds paid for with MbL's gold. How does that work? Science, explain that one to me. Wait, I've never looked at Berserks, a group of Berserks with Capture Age before. So this is awesome. If you look to the bottom right, I'm selecting all the units and you can see how quickly the group is healing up. It's kind of tough when they're in the middle of a fight, but just wait till now. Yeah, it would probably look a lot better if the whole group was weak. 170 population for MbL. And 183 for Viper, and he's really pushing forward now. He'll have Siege Ram in a bit. MbL seems very hesitant to fight this. My goodness. It's going to be a close one here. MbL wants to get a jump start to the attack because he completed Eldorado. So even though his Eagles don't have as much attack, Eldorado means more HP. And as I said earlier, I think it's easier for MbL to take the fights. That pullback with the Eagles means that Viper's Berserks would have run into the Plumed Archer fire. So what Viper's doing is so much more difficult. He has to task his skirmishers onto individual Plumed Archers. He can't rely on patrols. But he's doing it, guys. He's doing it. The Berserk, Skirm, and now Ram combo for Viper working really well. And poor MbL, he needs more barracks, he needs more Eagles, he needs more plumes. If he loses these castles, it's probably game over for him. But if at any point Viper doesn't have Berserks, if at any point he doesn't have Berserks with his group, all of his skirmishers melt. It's really about the Berserks, and the Rams are a big help, is to take that map control. And now if Viper loses a fight, he's falling back to an area he already has secured. If MbL loses a fight now, it's probably game over. Map positioning is huge, which is why I believe that Viper might have wanted MbL to castle there, so he could kill that castle and then take the map. Either way, it was a great thing that Viper did there. Building the defensive castle instead of the offensive one. I can understand MbL's logic with that as well. He probably wanted to finish off Viper before Viper could get to the Elite Berserk. He just couldn't do it. Viper has so many resources. 2,500 food, 800 gold. He is macroed like crazy in this game. Okay, so MbL's just missing the armor upgrade on his archers. If he gets the final armor upgrade, he'll have full upgrades in his units. Oh, and Viper skirms. This is what I mean. That's dangerous. That is a lot of military. Oh my goodness. MbL has 83 military. And he commits to the fight. Take a look at this, guys. 4,000 HP on MbL's military units. It's just 2,800 for Viper. It's not looking very good for Viper. Is Viper the one that's going to overextend now? Now, he is building a castle here to solidify this position a little bit. The runners from MbL, the distracts with the eagles, it's perfect. He should probably do that again. Yeah, MbL's going to win this fight. Viper's population has gone way down. Viper only has 40 military, MbL has 80 military. All of a sudden, MbL's spam is working. Now, what stings for him is that Viper got this castle up. Because now he can't immediately push Viper back. The castles are there to buy Viper some time. Even a castle here to buy Viper time and secure the res. But if MbL can get some trebs forward, get some siege in there, that would be perfect. It almost seems like it's impossible for MbL to do damage to Viper, though, because of how defensive Viper's playing. I know he's not too fond of Fatslub, but Fatslub would be proud of this man. Only thing he's missing is a bunch of stone walls. Oh, he is losing the fish traps, though. See, this is why I think maybe a stone wall would have been better. But, he's fine still, I think. He is a solid economy. Remember, those resources he had floating were insane. He's making trebs. He'll be making berserks. MbL is also making some trebuchets because he wants to kill this castle. I think Viper will probably go for defensive trebs and onagers. The longer he keeps his castle up, the better. I think he realizes he has more of the gold. I haven't talked about it in a while, but this forward base was cleaned up, so there's no threat there. Viper did get a berserk through here, I believe. There was a house wall there before. MbL just killed that a moment ago. Viper could onager cut through. That's an interesting strategy. Yeah, he's researched onager to cut through the trees. Well, that's not very Fatslub-like. Playing on the wrong balance there, Viper. Well, the only risk I can see in this is if he sends his military into MbL's economy, I'm sure he'll kill stuff, but then he'll lose the position in the center. So is it worth it? If he could somehow defend and attack, then sure, but not so easy when MbL has 73 military. He does bring MbL's plumes back. And he has skirms in the mix, so man, this is gonna be so tough to micro this, but he could micro his skirms against the plumes and try and defend here as well. But MbL dove in with the eagles, sniped the trebuchets. See, that's what I mean. It's almost a little bit too risky for me. 175 population for both. Aren't these two players amazing? I mean, they're both definitely in the top 3. Viper's #1 player in the world. I think MbL deserves to be called 2nd or 3rd in the world based on his tournament performances, but it's always hard to say. It really depends. I think other people deserve a shout, like Yo and Tato and things, and then who knows? It's not a conversation I really like to start because there's no way to say who is definitively 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, but MbL's certainly up there. And when these guys play games, it's always entertaining. Viper, he is lucky that he has the extra golds and stones. He's lucky he had the map packs. Because MbL has so much more... It seems like he's having so much more success in these fights. So I can only imagine if MbL had the 3 relics and had the golds and stones, what this game would have turned out like. But MbL's back. He's back in business. He cleaned up that raid. Whoa, Viper has a villain here. How is he doing this crap? Oh, you know what? They're going over there to chop trees. I don't know if that's intentional. That's funny. Viper's making heavy, or researching heavy Scorpion. That's also funny. But it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move at all. By the way, you guys see this? This, I'm gonna remove at some point. I know over the last few casts with Capture Age, that was up there. But I will remove that. I know it gets a bit spammy. Okay, so this will become more complicated for MbL. Viper's banking res. MbL's almost forced to push, but how do you push Onagers and Scorpions and Berserks and Skirmishers? A Viper might not have built fortified walls, but these castles will act as walls. Fatsob knows. According to Fatsob, the best way to beat Vikings in post-imp is just make the same things as Vikings are making in post-imp. So maybe MbL should go for Onagers. Maybe MbL should consider going for Scorpions. This is the only gold he has available right now, guys. And a lot of these villagers are holding gold. He needs to get out of here. Oh, it actually shows how much gold all the villagers are holding. That's nice. It does, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, Viper will build another castle. So I feel really bad for MbL at this point. Because it's just the map generation screwing him over. Yeah, he kills a castle, Viper headstone to just rebuild a castle. But then again, MbL could have played the map. Everyone has to play the map. He can see. Oh, Viper friendly fires his own skirmishers. Well, in all honesty, he probably wants more Berserks right now anyway, so. Oh my goodness, what an engagement. What an engagement. Viper just swarms around those eagles with his Berserks. MbL is relying on trebuchets to snipe Onagers. It's working. I'd love to see a juicy treb shot on the skirms and Scorpion there. 160 population for both. Again, so freaking close. And MbL's trebs have done work. They've killed a few Scorpions. Now he's repairing his trebuchets. Viper needs reinforcements, as does MbL. However, MbL's lacking gold for eagles. This is where he starts to get problems, right? Because the eagles he does make are going to struggle versus Scorpions. And he can't afford to make them. As Michael Scott would say, double jeopardy. I think MbL might start using the market soon, guys. He has some extra food, extra wood. Selling some of that could be helpful. He still has more military than Viper, just doesn't seem to have an answer for the composition. Maybe he could use mobility a bit more. Somehow ram into the side of Viper's base and get in there. I mean, that's a big maybe, because he really needs to get control of the center sooner rather than later. Yet again, Viper's building a castle, so this will be Viper's sixth castle. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. At least he doesn't have any more stone, I don't think. He still has 300 stone left, so he could easily build another one. MbL's holding on, just barely holding on right now, guys. 160 population, 69 military versus 67. Nice. Just can't push this. The Viking Death Ball is a thing. At the pro level, it is a thing. It is strong. With so many gigantic wood lines, it's almost like Black Forest. It's almost like something that Fatsob would be familiar with, but it doesn't help Mayans. It helps Vikings here. If it was more open, I'd give the edge to Mayans because of the plumes, but Viper has protected himself in every exposed area with the castles. I think Viper's just content to take his time. The one thing that will be in the back of his mind is that he doesn't have the relics. But with the resources he's banking up, and the resources he has left, I think he'll be fine. I think he realizes he'll be fine anyway. We'll see if he'll actually be fine. We saw this before. Remember the raid? The raid that distracted MbL? Well, this time, if MbL has to send anything back to defend his monastery and defend his main eco, Viper will be the one dropping the trebs on his castle. So, MbL needs to stomp this out quick. And he decides to send the Eagles in after Rams, but Viper now has Berserks there. And then meanwhile, on the front, Viper has just Scorpions and Skirmishers, and he's fighting just fine. This is becoming a real problem for MbL. Once the Berserk showed up, he needed the plumes, so he sends the plumes in. And now, it's easy to say now, but I think MbL, if he could have afforded it, should have gone for his own Onager upgrade. Onager would have helped out so much versus Skirms and the Scorpions. Now it's almost too late. He doesn't have gold. He has to use what he's invested into. And this is what I meant. If MbL has to send anything back to his starting eco, Viper will send Trebs forward. And MbL cannot lose this hill. If he loses this hill, it's probably game over. It's 170 population for Viper. It is 147 population for MbL. Viper has the gold. MbL does not. MbL's defended with Trebs before. He's trying desperately to do that now. But he's lost the castle, and he will lose his trebuchets before they're packed up, I think. He's lost 2. He'll lose 3. Oh, no. And you know what's extra annoying? I think his monastery is going to die, too. Oh, God. The relics popped out. He doesn't even have the gold to make another monk to get the relics back. And MbL taps out and calls the GG in this MegaRandom game. What a strong defensive performance from the Viper. Though I have to say, I feel a bit bad for MbL because the map generation hurt him. I don't want to make excuses for MbL. I think Onager would have been a good move. But Onager is an expensive move. And Viper definitely had the edge when it comes to accessible resources. That said, we talk about it all the time. Map generations can be weird sometimes. It's up to you to scout it and play the map. I think MbL tried to play the map by building the forward castle, and Viper was hoping that he would do that. Viper killed that castle, and ever since then, never lost his control of the center, so he could control the resources, win the game. I'm really curious, though. Let's see how many resources Viper collected. What's the difference here? Because I think MbL probably sold stuff. I think, if anything, Viper's food and wood eco might be slightly better. Slightly. Yeah, Viper had a lot of food and wood. Should MbL have gone skirms, maybe? No, doesn't really make sense for him to go skirms. Yeah, I think MbL was doing everything right. I think Onager. I think Onager. Eagles are very expensive. Make them, just make a few Onagers as well. Or maybe some of your own siege rams. Keep in mind, Mayans do have heavy Scorpion. They do have Onager. They do have siege ram, just like Vikings. 44,000 food collected for Viper. 47,000 wood. Way more stone collected. And I do think stone made a difference. Because Viper was able to control the areas in the map that he needed to. And MbL could never use his mobility and raid him. But MbL had 5,000 more gold collected. 93% of the map was explored by the Viper. 92% of the map was explored by MbL. So they knew where the resources were. And then 4,000 relic gold for MbL. So I think the relics would have played a big part if MbL had held on maybe another 10 minutes. But he wasn't able to do that. So, congratulations to the Viper, who's been playing a lot recently, and thank you guys for watching this video. Again, I'll be off streams for a week to a week and a half, most likely returning on Sunday the 21st, I think. But whenever I see you, hope to see you on the live stream or hope to see you in the next YouTube video. Have a good one, guys, and have a great rest of your day.